Welcome to America's Health Talk.
Wednesday night product experience and training call. We're so glad to have you all here. You know, these are calls that we do every Wednesday night. I guess we have just a couple of them left here for the year. Two more Wednesdays, and we'll be this year. We'll be in the books, and we'll do the last of them. So we're very, very glad to have been able to do these for all these years here with Immunotech and being able to talk about what these products do for people, whether it be our Immunocal Platinum, or Extra Sharp, or the PNT 200, or the calcium, or the omegas. It's just important. What we have here is products that are important, and you know that's what I think is so fascinating as we look at our product line. They are important products. You know, if you've got somebody that's tired and run down, Extra Sharp. If you've got somebody that's in pain, you know, our omegas are powerful. The Contralenta product is there, the cherry concentrate, as well as obviously with the inflammation, our Immunocal Platinum. So, you know, it's just important that we understand these products and we're able to share it back and forth. And that's what this call is about, and that's why we always put the caveats in that the products from Immunotech research do not cure anything. But as Hippocrates said some 2,500 years ago, you know, let food be thy medicine. Actually, what he said is let Immunocal. Everybody should be taking Immunocal, it would be known. But, you know, that's what he was talking about, is let food be thy medicine. And when you look at what we have here, we have very, very powerful foods that work on inflammation. They work on feeding the brain. You know, I'm reading a book now entitled Brain Food, The Surprising Science of Eating for Cognitive Power. What's interesting is the information that's in there is right along the lines of Dr. Daniel Amen, except this is out of Cornell University, just published in 2018, about the fact that what do you need to do if you're going to have great brain health? You've got to drink 32 ounces of water every single day. Absolute must. You've got to have a great quality protein. Gee, what do we have? We've got Immunocal. It doesn't get any better than that. Okay, you've got to provide the long-chain amino acids. You've got to provide some enzymes and to have gut health so that your brain works properly. Just powerful. And the most powerful thing about this is also the fact that people can live longer and look younger, and that's what's so important. So important on the program that we have here. So tonight we're joined by our good friend Jamie Holly, because Jamie and I were having a conversation about being younger next year. And, you know, talking about from the book by Dr. Lodge and Chris Crowley of being younger next year, but the fact of how important Immunocal is. Lori, we were just on a call, and Lori was sent an email, and we were emailing back and forth and talking about that she's, you know, people are accusing her of having Botox. Well, she's just been immunocaled instead, not Botox, but immunocaled. So, Jamie, thank you for joining us here out of Peterborough. Are the palm trees in Peterborough still okay?
Well, they're not palm trees, Keith, but we're getting a very mild winter so far, so I guess we're happy with that. But I'd rather have palm trees.
Okay, but it's wintertime in Canada. I always tease my Canadian friends about it, the palm trees up there. But you know, Jamie, you've been using Immunocal now for 20 years.
Almost 22 years now.
22 years. Okay, mm-hmm. So you started when you were 19, right?
Well, I was actually 44, and it's amazing when you talk to people. Somebody asked me the other day, you know, how long have you taken this supplement? And I said, well, I've taken it for almost 22 years, and in the course of 22 years, I've missed 2 days. And I said I missed 2 days because I had shoulder surgery from playing rugby. Other than that, I've never missed a day. And I guess like a lot of people, I've gotten so used to, you know, the product and knowing what it does, Keith, that if I get down to, you know, a couple boxes, not like Lori and some of her rich friends that have 12 boxes on hand all the time. That's a joke, Lori. Anyway, you know, I keep a couple boxes. If I get down, I panic because I do not want to be without this product. And I know.
Wait, okay, so 22 years of using Immunocal. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you know you've been on it for the 22 years, right. And you were talking about the other day you were at the gym at the Y,
mm-hmm.
right. And some people doubted they doubted you when you told them your age.
Well, a couple of fellows that I see them in the Y, and I've known them. I don't know them personally, but I see them in and out of the gym and whatnot. And so they were talking about age and different things. And one fellow looked over at me and he said, "Do you mind me asking how old you are?" And I said, "I'm 70." And he looked at the other guy and he said, "Funny guy, joke." I said, "Well, what do you mean?" They said, "There's no way you're 70 years of age. We've seen you work out. We see, kind of physiologically what you look like." And these guys have been members of the Y for, 15, almost 20 years as well that I've been going there. And their comment was, "You don't look a day older than the day we first saw you here." And I said, "Well, thank you, but I am 70.
Right. So, okay, Jim. So, once again, that is what we were talking about. We talk about this younger next year. I mean, it was a great call that Lori and Betty and Wendy and Dr. White did a few weeks ago. But it's across that section. We talk about it literally with everybody that's been using the Immunical and Immunical Platinum as well as the other products, but primarily Immunical and Immunical Platinum is they just don't age as quickly as everybody else.
Well, and it's funny you say that, Keith, because being in a smaller town, I run into a lot of people that I went to high school with, a lot of people that I've known through different sporting events and so on, and I literally can come up against people that I'm kind of looking at them and thinking, I know you, but you don't really look like who you used to be. And they're the same age or sometimes 4 or 5 years younger. And I mean, I have all kinds of people. In fact, today I had a couple students that I had, almost 20 years ago who right away just said, "Mr. Hawley, how are you?" Whatever. And I mean, I can remember lots of teachers that I know that I had that when I saw them 20 years after they taught me, I was like literally shocked at the aging process and what it had done to them. So, yeah, it's kind of nice to be, recognized as not being an old man.
Well, Jim, let's talk about this because, one of the things that when you read the books on aging is that every time you have a cold, you shorten your life expectancy. Every time you have the flu, you shorten your life expectancy. Every time you have any particular health issue, you've taken days off of the end of the calendar. Okay, so if you have a cold, you have a cold for a week. You've also not only been sick for that week, but you've taken a couple of days off of your life expectancy. You have the flu, for 2 weeks, and not only do you use that 2 weeks of the flu, but you've lost a couple of more days off of the end of that calendar. So, for the 20 years that you've been 22 years you've been using Immunical. What has it been like? Because you were a school teacher, so you were around everybody that was sick and all the stuff that was there. So give us your insight as to how it's affected your overall health with colds, flus, and those type of issues.
Okay. Well, I know there's a lot of people out there, Keith, who say, "Oh, I never get the flu, I never get a cold or anything, so I don't need your product, etc." But I just want to step back to one thing I asked Dr. Bunos and Dr. Gutman about one time, and I said, "You hear people say this, and they say, 'Oh, I don't get a cold or the flu. I don't have to worry about Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, cancer, or nothing.'" And Dr. Bunos looked at me in his broken English, and he said, "It means nothing. Whether you get those things or not, it has no indication as to whether you have something developing in your body or not." But going back to my situation when I taught school, I was off every year with bronchitis. My brother and I, 11 months apart, he was in the military for 35 years. He's had bronchitis every year of his life and still does because he's too stubborn to look at this. I have not had, in fact, my doctor was commenting a physical I had last year. He said, "This is amazing." He said, "I have not given you an antibiotic for bronchitis in 20 years. And I just looked at him and I said, "So, does that not tell you something?" He said, "Let's not go there." Well, and about the cold and flu, I think in the course of 20 years, Keith, I've had a brush with a cold once in a while. I have not had a flu outbreak at all. And I mean, again, when I taught school when I was younger, every winter I had the flu probably a couple times. I had definitely had colds that were, just put you right on your back. And I was younger, so here I am, this much older, and I don't, my sisters, all kinds of people I know, they'll phone me up and say, oh, I've got a cold, and I can't, whatever, and I'm going, I'm sorry to hear that. I know something that might help, and but I have fortunately and honestly not had what I would call a major cold and no flu in 20 years.
Well, Dr. Bruno said all those years ago, taking Immunical, you're still going to get the cold. You're still going to get a cold. You're still going to get a flu. You're still going to get some of these other things. But the comment that he made, you won't be as sick for as long. And those are the things that I've noticed. I always talk about I have the 4 to 6 hour cold or the 4 to 6 hour flu that I start to feel bad. I take a couple of more packages of Immunical and it goes away. Last night was a perfect example of that. Last night I was not feeling well. And I go, man, I got something coming on. I took a couple of more packages of Immunical last night in the evening before I went to bed. Got up this morning. Everything's fine. We're here at the end of the day. Not a problem. So, so from 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon till whatever time I went to bed, I didn't feel good. Got up this morning and back running. Well, I don't think that would have been the case if it hadn't been for Immunical, Jim.
No, I can't say enough about the product, Keith. And one thing I want to stress is that when I was younger, you were always kind of having people push vitamins on you. And, of course, the health food store movement came and is still here. And I would start a vitamin, start taking a multivitamin, different things, and within a month, well, who cares? I'm not doing it. And with Immunical, I guess because I had the fortune of meeting Dr. Bunos and seeing and hearing what these guys said about disease and sickness and how it starts at one cell at a time, and basically what they had found with the product, I just would never be without it. And Wally and a lot of us have talked about the fact that, God forbid, if anything ever happened that we weren't with this company, I would never stop taking this product. And I don't think there's many people and many companies can say that.
Well, that's why, once again, we talk about having our inventory. Lori and Wendy and Betty talk about their stash. We talk about having some inventory here, and just like you said, always want to have a couple of boxes always around. So, well, Jamie, any additional thoughts before we open up the lines here this evening?
Well, I think, anybody who's listening to this call, perhaps for the first time, don't try the product. The product has been tried through years and years and years of clinical research. We know that it is an immune system optimizer, booster, whatever you want to call it, and it does so many other things that, and actually just going back, Dr. Bunos, one time I asked him, I said, if you can't afford like vitamins, this and other things, what would you recommend? He said, take 1 pack a day of this and don't worry about the other stuff because this is going to very much help you, even 1 pack a day.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Jamie. Thank you for sharing that
You're
with
welcome,
us.
Steve.
If you hang on here, we're going to open the lines up and invite some other people for thoughts, comments, or questions. Got a lot of people on the lines tonight. Once again, this call is intended as a training call, and as Hippocrates said some 2,500 years ago, let food be thy medicine. The products from Immunotech Research do not cure anything, but we have simply the most powerful food you can use. All right, we've got everybody unmuted here, so we'll take it as long as we don't have any too much feedback. If you do have feedback, I will have to mute you. But who has thoughts, comment, or questions tonight?
Keith, can I just add one other thing here? Wally, Uncle Wally sent me some information here on inflammation, and I'm looking at one of the researchers, and it's really interesting here. One of the things I didn't comment on is that at 70, I walk 3 or 4 times a week. I cycle. I actually even go out and run around with the rugby guys throwing a ball around. I don't play anymore, but I feel like I'm very, very active. And this researcher out of one of the top universities in the United States said, mobility is a cornerstone of healthy aging. So when you see people, and I have an example with my own father who lived to be 93, but the last 6 years of his life he might as well have been gone because he stopped moving. And as soon as you stop moving, it's a problem. But with this product, I find it gives you energy and strength. So it's not just immune strength. It helps your muscles stay strong. We've got studies that show we can improve muscle strength in the elderly. Well, I guess we're considered elderly. And
hey, watch it. Watch it.
Okay, young elderly. All right, that's it.
All right. Well, good. All right. Well, the lines are open. So because you're right. Because once again, if you don't move, if you don't feel good, okay, because that's one thing we always talked about with Dr. Bunos all those years ago, and Dr. Drobe, the physicians and the researchers and all the people is here. What do we want to do? You want to look good, feel good, okay? And if you don't feel good, okay, nothing else matters. But that's what we've got here is your ability to be able to feel good, have that bounce in your step. So who has thoughts, comments, or questions this evening?
Hi, it's Linda from Windsor. I have a question for you.
Yes, Linda.
I have a customer that was noticed on our probiotics. It said that to consult a health practitioner prior to use if you're on blood thinners. What would be in it that would be targeting the blood thinners?
I have no idea. I don't know if Dr. White's on the call this evening or not. I didn't see him there. Dr. White, are you with us?
Yeah, still with us, haven't left yet. It's one of these lawyer things.
Okay.
Okay. I just wondered why it hit the blood thinners, like it specifically says if you're on blood thinners.
Well, omega-3s are a thinner by themselves, right? Not major, but they are thinner. So if you're using a drug plus the omega-3s, that may put you over to make you too thin in terms of your blood. So
and the
that's always
probiotic?
the question. Pardon?
But she was asking about the probiotic.
Yeah, I know. But
Once again, it's the lawyers. It's like up there in Canada where they got the warning on the extra sharp. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, don't take extra sharp because you'll be too smart. That's what it should say on there. You know.
It may work too well.
But most often this is written by the lawyers. Not, it's just like Dr. Gutman. Dr. Gutman, the company's position and on the label, if you're pregnant, don't take Immunical. Dr. Gutman says if you're pregnant, you need to certainly be on Immunical. You'll have a healthier, smarter baby if you take Immunical, according to Dr. Gutman.
Okay. Yeah.
And the best time to be on it is before you get pregnant, all through the pregnancy. So, and once again, we've got the stories of the people coming and telling us the stories, the results that they've experienced with that. So that would be the point, Linda. It's all about the lawyers.
Okay. I thought maybe there was some little ingredient that they had to wipe out, like our celery seed in the K21.
Yeah. So could be
Not cranberries or anything. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks.
Who else has thought, comment, or question this evening?
Well, here's another Linda, Peterborough.
Okay, Peterborough, yes.
Yeah, hi Keith and hi Jamie. Listen, I have a question about Contralenta, because it seems to me that I heard one of you fellows say at one point that if you're really trying to rebuild a joint, your cartilage and such in a joint, that there was an optimal dosage to consider for a while, and I'm just wondering if you remember that and what it was.
Three and three. Take it.
Okay.
Take nine a day. Take 3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, 3 in the evening.
Until you see it improve the way you want?
Until you see the results that you're looking for.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you.
So it's at 9 a day for the Contralenta for that. And once again, we've had and that's a great question because we haven't talked about that in a long time. But if somebody's got joint pain, they're dealing with that pain. Because once again, this product was developed for weight athletes. For people that are in weightlifting or weight type of weight-bearing athlete, whether it be somebody that's a runner, long-distance runner, or somebody that's actually a weightlifter, okay, for when they hurt their joints or whatever, that's where this product came about. So that's why it'll rebuild it. But once again, it's not going to be fast. You're not taking a pain medication with the Contralenta, and this is something that's probably you're looking at a month or 2 months of taking 9 a day, depending on what type of injury that you're dealing with. Okay. And
so I got an email today. Stock up on it.
Yeah, so that's where you want to look at it, is the 9 a day.
Thank you.
I was going to say, regarding that, I got an email today that Immunotech did a call at 8 o'clock Eastern Time on
Right.
Contralenta. I don't know if they replay it or not. I
Yeah, there's
missed
a replay.
it. Okay.
There's a replay on it, but they're not going to tell you to take 9 a day.
No, they don't.
Okay, they're going to tell you the recommended dosage, and once again, because they're doing it for, broad spectrum, they're not talking about specifics for people. So, yeah. Okay. But it is up on a replay. It would be great information with Dr. Libera there as well. Okay. All right. Then we had somebody else that had a question.
Yes, I have a client that is trying to decide whether to take chemotherapy with her Immunocal, and I just wondered what you would recommend.
If you're asking what I'd recommend they take Immunocal while they're going through their chemotherapy. Okay.
Yes, I said sometimes it potentiates, I believe, eh?
Yeah. So they want to, if somebody's going to have chemo or radiation, they want to be on Immunocal, and they can talk to their oncologist. And one of the best things they can take, if you can, there's a flyer that the company had. It's called the 3-doctor flyer. It has Dr. Luc Montagnier, which was the head of the Pasteur Institute in Paris, the Nobel Prize winner in medicine for 2008. It's got Dr. Droge on there, who was at the German National Cancer Institute for 20 years, and it's got Dr. James Balch. And those 3 doctors, and all 3 of them are recommending Immunocal. And it's a simple point of taking that flyer and letting the physician know that, these doctors recommend it, and the question needs to be placed. You cannot ask the oncologist or the doctor, should I take it? They'll tell you no. What you have to ask them for, is there any reason why I should not take this? And they'll say, no, there's no reason you shouldn't take it. So once again, it's about how you preface the question.
Yeah, Jamie Hawley here. I've got 3 articles written by Dr. Gutman on chemo and radiation. And also the study that was done called Cystine at the Jewish Hospital in Montreal. They actually administered Immunocal to people in stage 4 lung cancer that were undergoing apparently quite large amounts of chemo and radiation. And the results show that you can combine the 2, no problem.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants
to
email me, I can send those out.
Yeah, and if you go to xyztools.com and click on them, you'll see Linda Weldon when she was on there, and we were interviewing her for the call and going through her chemotherapy and radiation and so forth. So everything is there. So once again, that's a great interview. It's up on xyztools.com, and it's the Linda Weldon interview, and she'll talk about it. But the main thing when someone's going through chemotherapy and radiation and the chemotherapy particularly, is the Immunocal makes the chemotherapy more effective. It actually makes it more effective for treating the cancer, and there's a bunch of science that backs that up. And secondly, the person will not be as sick to their stomach, and they won't lose their hair more than likely. Okay? And those are benefits that they're going to get from the Immunocal, even if they going through the chemotherapy. Okay, or the radiation, either one. They won't suffer from the burns from the radiations, but it, once again, makes the radiation more effective, makes the chemotherapy more effective. There's a whole bunch of science behind this. There's something called redox modulation overload that explains all of it, and all you need is about a week and a very good medical dictionary, and you can read the research that was written on it. Okay, but the reality of it is that people take the product and they feel better, because you got to remember, you come back to the one thing of in 1993, there was a patent issued on Immunocal as an immunotherapy for the treatment and prevention of cancer. That's the medical patent on Immunocal, and you can use that as well when you're taking it. But that's a great question. So if somebody's going through chemo and radiation, they want to be on Immunocal.
And how many packets do you recommend?
At least 4 a day, 2 in the morning, 2 in the evening. Okay? Because the chemo is a poison. Okay? And we're really not at the point that we're dealing with that, what we're doing is we're protecting the healthy cells from the chemotherapy by using the Immunocal. That's what we're doing. We're not talking about affecting the cancer. What we're doing is we're talking about protecting the healthy cells while the person is going through the chemo and radiation. And the side effect of that is it makes the cancer slow. And once again, it goes through that. But that's why I would take four a day. Your thoughts, Dr. White?
Yep. Preferably the 4 platinum, but if you can match it with 2 plus 2, but 4 is the minimum. Some people have gone for 4 platinum and 2 immunocal just to try and get at it faster.
Right.
So.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, that's what this call's about. Once again, that's why it's intended as a training call where we can openly share information back and forth with everybody. All right. Who else has thought, comments, or questions this evening? We've got a lot of people on the call, so we got a packed call tonight. We got a lot of people here. So, who else has thoughts, comments, or questions?
Just a thought. My name's Tom Oldershaw, and again, we were talking when it comes to exercise. But if your lifestyle does not control your body, eventually your body will control your lifestyle.
Absolutely, Tom. Absolutely, and you know that, right?
I sure do. And practice it too.
Yeah, I know you do. Great input there. So, all right, and we had another lady.
Yes, this is Kim in Minnesota.
Yes.
I've got somebody I'm working on right now. She's got leukemia. She's younger. She's probably in her 30s. And she kind of mentioned to me she doesn't really have a lot of money, so she wants to stick around $100. What would you recommend the most important things for her to take?
Immunical Platinum.
Okay. Anything else, like the optimizer?
Well, it's not at $100, because if we're dealing with $100, we're talking about $100 a month?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I'm just trying to talk her into something else.
It's going to be the Immunical Platinum.
Okay.
Okay. And
all right. Thank you.
And what I would do with that is I always, the point that we always come back to, and we don't talk about the business part of this call, but there's 3 ways to get Immunical. You can get it at retail, you can get it wholesale, or you can get it free. Which one would you like to do? Okay. And
right.
so, the free part is where you share it with others, just like what you're doing right here with her. She's probably got 3 or 4 other friends that she knows that could benefit from this product. Maybe they've got allergies. Okay, we're headed into the wintertime where people's houses are closed up and there's a lot of mold issues going on and a lot of mold allergies start to appear, and so if she got a couple of other people using the product, then she could take more. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
And don't be bashful about sharing that. Don't be bashful about sharing the business side of what we have here. Because the point is, we once again, every single month, everyone receives a report card, and that report card tells them how many people they've helped. And it's known as a check. It's known as the commission that comes from Immunotech. The more people you help, the larger the commission check. Okay, and if you think about it as your report card as to how many people you've helped. Okay, and so once again, it's not necessarily about making the money, but about helping people. So share that with people. Share with what their purpose is. Okay, and if you need some help on that, just reach out to somebody let one of us help you with that with them to understand the business. Because oftentimes on the business side, somebody says, "Well, what do I have to do to get my product for free?" Okay, as a distributor, to get your product for free, what you have to find is one person that will take this seriously as a business. One person, if you can identify one person who will take this business seriously, like a Jamie Holly, like a Lori, like a Dr. White, like a number of you that are on the call tonight, one person, your product is not just free. Your product, you've earned, $1,000 a month, $1,500 a month, $2,000 a month because you sponsored one person who took this business seriously. So when somebody says, "What do I have to do to get my product for free?" Can you identify one person that you think would take this seriously that could do very well at it? So, all right.
Thank you.
Okay, because one packet a day, if we're dealing with the cancer, one packet a day is not where we want to be. Okay, we want to be at,
I'm hoping that once she takes one, she'll want to take more because she'll feel better.
Right.
That's typically what I've found with a lot of people.
Yep.
I'm just trying to get her introduced into it, and then once she feels better, hopefully she's asking more questions and maybe hopefully taking Immunical Platinum and then Immunical as well. But just kind of an introductory.
Right.
Okay.
All right. Very good. Thank you for the question.
Jamie Hall, if I can interject one thing here, just based on what this lady's saying, and nobody can talk about, doing this business without money any better than I can because I was on welfare when I started and Wally met me, but I would, in my life, if I found out tomorrow I had some serious illness, I'm telling you right now, I can take Immunical and go without food for the most part, or drop a lot of things that, are not necessarily necessary in my day-to-day habit of eating. So, I guess it's that serious. If you're ill, my idea is I would take this over half the garbage that we are eating today rather than, leave the planet earlier than you should.
Yeah, it's about making those life choice decisions.
Absolutely.
The thing about taking Immunical, and once again, if somebody's dealing with cancer, we're really looking about, we're looking at 4 packets a day, which means looking at roughly $300 a month. Okay, it takes the 4 packages of platinum if they're on an auto ship as a distributor. So, that's one of the things we'd be looking at. Thanks, Jamie, on that. All right, who else has thought, comment, or question this evening?
Hey, Keith.
Yes.
This is David Lee. I was when the comment was made about the blood thinners, I was not in a position where I could comment. But when there was a time when my dad, who was on some blood thinners, was having some problems, and the doctor, his doctor got irritated at another doctor.
More education.
Coumadin plus anything is too much. And so I have to second your comment that it depends on what blood thinners are on.
I put patchouli. That's the only thing I had there.
So there it is.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Thanks, Lee. Appreciate that. Once again, it is about using the products there. All right. Who else? Anyone else? Thoughts, comments, or questions? All right. Well, once again, this is our Wednesday night product experience and training call, and as always, we want to put the caveats in here. The products from Immunotech do not cure anything, but as Hippocrates said some 2,500 years ago, you'd be well advised to take Immunotech. But
hey, can I get a question in?
Oh, I don't know, maybe.
Well, I was hoping someone else asked it because she was supposed to be on the call. But anyway, my sister got something called frozen shoulder. I'm not exactly familiar what that is, but then my mom's friend got diagnosed with the same thing, where I guess they have a lot of pain in the shoulder, can hardly move it. What do you suggest?
And I am here, Mark.
Okay. Here. Okay, let's go to Dr. White. Dr. White, I don't know what frozen shoulder is.
Bursitis.
Bursitis.
Yeah, it's an arthritis form, and again, we're back to an autoimmune kind of thing. So all of the things that we talk about in terms of autoimmune improvement, which is the Immunical, which is the Omegas, which the Cherry, which you can't get in the U.S. right now, but anything that has anti-inflammatory issues, even the Contralenta will help in the process as well. So you've got a whole variety to choose from, but the big one, of course, is Immunical and Immunical Platinum.
Immunical Platinum, probably at least 2 a day.
Yeah, well,
okay.
Preferably.
And also the Contralenta?
Yeah, but the whole thing about it has to do with whether you like pain or not. Some people will go at it gently, like 2 Immunical or 2 Platinum, and they'll put up with the pain slowly going away. I prefer just to go after it with, say, 4, and try to get the movement in there. And by the way, try to keep your shoulder moving as well if you possibly can. Try to get the movement back there. But it's inflammation, and anything to do with inflammation and that part, definitely all the products we have that relate to that, yeah, you can use them all.
Okay, but the Immunical Platinum probably 4 a day.
That's the Immunical, the Platinum 4 a day.
Platinum, yes.
just to do it
Okay,
fast.
I have another question, if I might.
Certainly.
Yeah, the same lady that he was speaking of with the swollen shoulder, that was my son, also has diabetic retinopathy. I'm sorry, diabetic neuropathy.
Yeah.
And she sometimes has a really difficult time in walking. Plus, she's on dialysis, as I am. So
Yeah.
it's a multitude of, things.
The dialysis means you're restricted in your protein, but the neuropathy simply means blood is not getting to those tissues, particularly in the feet. So the Immunocal helps keep that keeps the arteries of the small capillaries open to get that. And again, there are ways to keep the exercise going as well, and the omega-3s are important. So those are a variety of things just because of the diabetes. The other part of diabetes is exercise and get the weight down and to get the water up, including all this. So all those things help.
But with the kidney failure, your fluids are restricted.
Yeah, but also your protein is restricted.
Yes,
the whole
also,
question, yeah. When restriction of protein, Immunocal and platinum are the best quality proteins in the world. So if you're restricted in your proteins, restrict yourself to Immunocal.
Okay. And what would you
9
recommend?
grams, so that when you're doing your calculation.
9 grams protein per pack.
I'm sorry, you're breaking up. I'm sorry.
When you're doing your calculations, there's 9 grams of protein per packet of Immunocal.
Okay, 9 grams.
So when you're doing your calculations for your protein intake. Okay.
Normally they limit you to about 60 grams a day, and that would mean 6-7 packages of Immunocal that you're allowed in that process.
Right, but then so once again, just to keep that in mind. But I would look at for the shoulder and the stuff that you're there. To Dr. White's point, 3 or 4 packages a day of Immunocal Platinum to help with that, and then once you get some relief from that, you can cut it back.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, that's what this call's about, and that's why we do them. All right. Anyone else? Thoughts, comments, questions? Okay. Well, Dr. White, closing thoughts?
I'm just thinking of how fortunate we are during this year 2018 to have had the opportunity to put Immunocal and Platinum and all the other good products we have into our bodies. And so we're a signatory of the healthier person this year, better than we were at the beginning of this year.
Absolutely. Jamie, final thoughts? Where did he go? He disappeared.
Muted.
Not muted on my end, so I don't know if he got muted on his end or not. All right. Anyone else? Final thoughts, comments, questions as we wrap up the call?
Keith, this is Judy from Calgary. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, yay. 'Cause I tried a few times, and I must have been muted. Okay, I have a totally off question tonight, and here's my question. I'm a person that's always been on a weight loss program, okay? So our question was, me and my girlfriends were asking, could we just take Immunocal as a diet product, like eat vegetables, and use Immunocal as our protein for a diet supplement? Have you ever heard of that?
You can.
You're outside of my realm there. So, Dr. White.
Yeah. When you've always been on diet reducing kind of things, that means number one, you got potential for toxins out of your fat, and so you need to get extra Immunocal in there just to get the toxins out. And then the other part is, the more that you restrict your diet, the more you have restricted your intake of valuable minerals and so on. So you need a supplement to do that. The K21 is a good thing to add to that, just to make sure that you get the things that you're not getting enough of.
Right. Well, I'll tell you why I'm asking. I've got a lot of, and we're coming into the new year, which most of us know is diet season, right? And a lot of people are asking me, because of the quality of the protein, is it possible to use it, because the ketogenic diet is really big right now, which is protein, vegetables, and fat, right? And so I've got lots of people asking me if they can use Immunical as a diet supplement. And that's why I'm asking the question tonight.
As the chief source of protein, it is, say, the best protein on the not on the market, but on the planet. And so it's a good choice to substitute your protein in your diet with Immunical and Immunical Platinum. It is the best choice you can make in terms of a protein for any diet.
So you could actually supplement a 6-ounce steak with a pack of Immunical, right?
Don't eat them at the same time, probably. Enjoy them separately.
Yeah, but I don't know how many grams of protein are in a 6-ounce steak. I don't. But once again, per
divide by 4.
Okay. But on Immunical, there's 9 grams of protein. Whether it be Immunical or Immunical Platinum, you're dealing with 9 grams of protein that has a bioavailability of 140, 150, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's a different quality of protein.
Yeah, much higher quality. Yeah, it's higher than eggs as far as quality of protein. So yeah, so like I say, they might be able to, once again, if they're doing the calculations, okay, it would.
A 6-ounce steak is about 45 grams of protein.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So you could use the regular, like, dietary books that have the caloric values, right? And then just divide that by the 9 in the Immunical, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you for the question. All right. Anyone else?
Yes, Juan. This is Tony, the fitness trainer from New York. How are you doing, gentlemen?
There he is. Where you been hiding out, young man?
I'm here every Wednesday, but I just lay low.
All right.
I got a question for you. The optimizer. How beneficial it is to take with the Immunical?
Highly beneficial.
What you want to look at, Tony, with that is, once again, when you look at what you're doing, because it's an epigenetic product, and that's something that a lot of us didn't have a lot of information around. I was interested in it before the product actually came out. In fact, if you go to xyz.com, there's a video there called the 100 Year.
You're breaking up. I can't hear you.
Okay, if you go to xyztools.com, and you'll see a video there called the 100-Year Effect, and it talks about epigenetics. And when you're taking the optimizer, what they did is they used the epigenetics from broccoli, they're from the broccoli seed, to actually turn on the gene that makes where the body produces more of its own antioxidant and makes it more. There's some effects that are there. So that's what that product is about. Okay, it's about epigenetics. And so when you look at everything that we have, and this is a whole nother conversation, okay, when you get into the epigenetics, because the epigenetic, one of the things that's required is a great quality protein, and most people do not have that in their diet. And that's one of the other benefits of Immunical. That's what we were talking about months before the optimizer came out, was how important Immunical is in regards to epigenetics. So if you go there, there's, like I said, there's a short video. It's called the 100-Year Effect. It talks about the epigenetics. But that's what optimizer is providing.
Can I hear you? You're really like cracking up.
Okay, well, once again, thank you very much to Comcast. I just happen to just love them terribly, okay, for my internet service and phone service. But then once again, it's epigenetics. Go to xyztools.com, click on there, and watch the 100-Year Effect, and it'll give you some insight into that, Tony, as to why somebody wants to use the optimizer.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. Anyone else this evening? All right. Well, thank you very much for being here. Jamie, thank you so much for taking your time to be with us. Dr. White, as always, appreciate you, and tell your darling bride, Fern, how much we appreciate you as well. And all of you that make these calls possible. We appreciate all of you because it's your participation that makes this worthwhile. Have a great evening, everyone, and good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Keith. Good night, Dr. White.
Good night, Keith. Good night, Dr. White.
Good night.
Good night.
You're listening to America's Health Talk.